good morning, everyone. This is Steve Bontell with our beloved Insurasales, and we are live here at SWAT 2023. And I am here with William Berry of Symmetry Financial Group. And William, this has been a great show. It's been exciting. There's been just all types of energy. But you know, there's been a lot of real life, real emotion coming out of this conference, which has really touched me after spending the last 27, 28 years in the insurance business. And I see wonderful people like you in Symmetry Financial here at the show. Give me your thoughts from what you see here in Dallas, Texas, and what you think about SWAT, and maybe to the people who are watching, should they come to a conference like this?
That's a great question, and I would say hands down 100% they should come. I'm part of Nate Offert's larger organization at Symmetry. So, I mean, when we first came, I've been in the industry now 7 years, owned an agency for 4, and he used to hold this event 2 times a year, every year. And it was just part of the standard. You know, we have to have standards in our business, in our life. And coming to this event, even if it's some of the same information, and it's not always the same information, it's always new information, but the way I've heard it has been new every time. You know, in my personal development, I learned that even if I had to go to the same event 72 times, man, I'm 72 times better every time I go, you know?
You're so right. So take us on the journey a little bit. So 7 years ago, did the light just come on and you say, I can't wait to be in the insurance business? How did the journey begin for you?
Well, I mean, I was a deputy sheriff in Oklahoma, in a county in Oklahoma.
Awesome.
You know, kicking butt and taking names, doing that thing for the public. I worked 2 part-times. Anybody in the cop world, EMS world, firefighters, right, they all got part-times. We just don't make enough money. And then I had a property business, had a big entrepreneurial bug. Used to flip houses, own rental properties. I worked 90 plus 100 hours a week, never made more than 90 grand. And I woke up one day and said that wasn't enough. Law enforcement was done with me, I was done with law enforcement. In between law enforcement and finding this place, I just did those things everybody do, man. I Uber drove, did industrial construction, did 4 months on a dirt crew in Tioga, North Dakota. I mean, just hustling it. 3rd kid was on the way. My wife, I've been blessed to let my wife stay at home. We have 4 kids now. She homeschools our kids. She raises them. But I mean, that's a real stressful time for, you know, when you're the man, when you're the guy. And believe it or not, I was in a bar, crying in a beer, looking for that thing. And a buddy of mine said, hey man, watch this video. It was a little corporate overview. Symmetry had 13 minutes. Everett Pritchett's voice was actually, who's here at this event, was actually the voice on that. And at the time I said, hey, I'm not gonna do American Income Life. He said, it's not that, I really want you to look at this. I looked at it and 2 things came into my mind. One, I can make as much money as I want, right? Like if I go to work and I do it, I earned it. And the second thing is I can build a business no one will ever take away from me.
So when you say that, it's so exciting, and it makes me think, so you're serving the public, you're putting your life on the line for all of us. You've got a growing family at home. You're trying to figure out what you want to do. You're looking at your bank account and you're earning $90,000 a year, and you got all these things going, and you're homeschooling your kids, and it just sounds like a really busy life.
Right.
And then you say, I just want something better. And you, like you said, you sit there and you go, what am I going to do? You took a chance, you know, you bet on yourself, right? And would you say to the people that may be watching this right now that are thinking about, maybe I've got the same thing that William's got, like I'm not making enough in my life, maybe I'm not as happy as I could be, the job isn't giving me enough satisfaction, maybe they laid people off. We had COVID a couple of years ago, and there's a lot of things in their life that are very uncertain, and they hear about insurance and they think maybe that's what I want to do, but then they get a little nervous. From somebody that now has made that leap 7 years ago, help some of the folks who maybe want to take a leap, maybe make it easier for them by giving them some words of encouragement.
A mentor of mine reminded me that the worst that's going to happen is that you're just going to go back to what you were doing. But the greatest thing is, the best thing that will happen is that your life will completely change. And that could seem cliche to someone who's listening to us right now, but I think people aren't really worried about failure. I think people are really worried that they'll get out and get in something and it won't be what they thought it was. But what I love about our industry and what I love about like SWAT and what I love about other conferences we go to, even meeting you, Steve, is like, this is what we make it.
Yes.
It's 100% what we make it. And so I really embrace the idea of like, let's go make this what you wanted. Every single one of my agents, let's go make this what you need it to be, what you want it to be. And then together, let's go make this thing, this dream, this vision, what we want it to be. Because when we're doing that 9 to 5, it's what someone else wanted. And if you're good, that's your team, that's your place. With that 9 to 5, awesome. It was mine at the county. I mean, serving the public of that county, 40 hours a week, taking calls, catching bad guys, that is a big service. And that is the dream of the community. But I just knew there was more for my life.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got pushed out of it.
you know, it's interesting. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to, as I share with you off camera, opportunity to talk to thousands of agents, people thinking about what they really want to do with their life. And you know, insurance wasn't always their first choice, right?
No. And
then all of a sudden they made the choice to come in the business. They kind of took a leap of faith because they go from, well, I'm getting paid a salary. Maybe it's $15 an hour, maybe it's $50 an hour or something. But in the end, they're capped with their income and they're getting a salary and they're getting paid every 2 weeks. And then when we say, well, you bet on yourself in this business, and it's 100% commission for the agent, the retail agent that's out there. While there's a risk there, boy, wouldn't you say that the rewards clearly outweigh any risk in our business?
100%. I mean, there's risk in everything we do. 9 to 5ers still bought a house. It was a risk in buying a house.
Yeah.
I mean, they bought a car. There's a risk the car was going to break down. I mean, there's a risk when they went to work this morning. There's risk in everything we do. It's just, what's the reward? And this business and the things that we do is the biggest reward ever. And it's not just financial. Yeah, we make a ton of money for what we do when we're really in the rhythm of doing it with the right people. I help our people process their claims too.
Yeah.
When I take a $100,000 check to someone, when I take an $18,000 check to someone, when I help pay 6 months of their mortgage off, when I help them pay off a $200,000 mortgage, when I bring $35,000 to help them battle cancer, that is better than any traffic ticket I ever wrote, any DUI stop I ever did, any time I spent in a courtroom in a courthouse. That is cool. That is a reward.
Right.
That reminds us that what we do really matters.
Right. You know, folks, back in, I think I was mentioning this the other day on camera, back in the early 2000s, I wrote an article for Broker World magazine, and I said that automobile insurance is required by law, homeowners insurance is required by mortgage holder or lien holder, but life insurance isn't required by anybody, but it is required by love. And when you think about what life insurance really is, and we talked to one of your colleagues here recently, W. Scott Peterson, who was wonderful, by the way, and talking about how you've meant so much in his life. But he was talking about how it can do so many other things that I don't think a lot of people who might watch this will really understand, like paying off debt, like paying off education, loans, and various other things where you can use insurance in ways that the general public, the media, other folks haven't even discussed. Share with the viewers the power of life insurance and what it's meant for you in your life and your career.
Life insurance in general has been the most phenomenal tool that I think I never came across. I mean, me and W. Scott Peterson are sitting with people every day, and we can't tell all of you guys, I know you know, Steve, but people are like, why didn't they teach us this in school?
Right.
Why didn't my parents know about this?
That's
why isn't there this alternative? You know, whether it's, hey, you know, why didn't someone can just come help me get out of debt? You know, trillions and trillions of dollars in debt in this country, and from educational loans to just the simple credit cards. And, you know, why didn't my grandparents or my parents remind me that there's a plan so that I don't have to get a GoFundMe. Like I could actually like pay a small amount of money every month and have my funeral covered, right? Even just how powerful that is.
Yep.
I mean, right now the average cremation in this country is $7,500 if you count the whole service. An actual burial, if that's what you believe in, is up to $25,000, $30,000.
Yeah.
Projected to double in the next 15 years, by the way, if you didn't know, Steve. And so, I mean, just little lessons like that, I think people are forgetting. I mean, are you happy in markets like this with 401ks and what the 401k is doing, or what a traditional IRA is doing, or what a Roth IRA, and the idea of what we can do by creating sheltered money and different kinds of insurance, while at the same time, if you never made it to retirement because you passed away, you still gave your family this amazing tax-free gift.
That's right.
I mean, look, money doesn't replace people, but it sure does make the transition, the next chapter of whatever their life is, way more secure. It makes it a lot easier. It's awesome to hear you talk about love, because I used to have an agent that said that she would sit in homes and she would say that life insurance is the ultimate love letter that we are going to write and leave those people that we leave behind, right? How are they going to remember us?
That's right. That's exactly right. And you talk about what's said and what's not said sometimes is even maybe more important. In our world, you know, we're born to die, but we don't want to talk about death sometimes, right? We'd rather have 3 root canals on the same day, right? Than talk about death. But we are going to die. And we don't know if it's in you being in law enforcement. You know, you saw it. You go out today and then somebody gets killed in a drive-by shooting, or somebody is held up in a robbery and they're hanging on by the thread. There's so many things that could happen in a moment's notice really, in our world. And yet, I think sometimes we don't really value that. If you just could take a little small check, just make a little small check each month, you could leave your family this big check to take care of them. And I think of you talking about your 4 children, your wonderful wife at home, the family that you've created, and you're America, right? We're all one big pot. We're all in the same thing. There really isn't. And this is just me, Steve, going on a soapbox, I apologize. But I really believe that every single family in the United States should have some life insurance. If you're looking around in your important papers or your safety deposit box, or just please, you know, pick up the phone and you got to call William and you got to talk to Symmetry, or talk to somebody that you can trust and get a life insurance policy, and talk to them about your retirement assets. Talk to them about some of the things that you're going to need. Because I've learned one thing in 27, 28 years in our business, is that you do business with people that you know and that you can trust. Absolutely. And somebody you can look eye to eye and say, you know, William, will you help me? Will you help my family? Because I don't know a lot about insurance. Maybe I don't know a lot about protecting my house. I have to trust somebody. And what's great about, I think, what you're doing and what Symmetry's doing is not only you're bringing people into the business and training them and servicing them, but you're actually in the communities, right? You are helping these families. Like you said, I'm there. So if anything happens to you, I can help get that money from the insurance company right back into the pockets of your loved ones who've left behind. And I think that, and I mean this sincerely to all the people here in SWAT 2023, that's one of the most noblest professions in the entire world, is to be in the life insurance industry, and to do it for the last 7 years after serving our, serving your community as a police officer. That's pretty special. And you should. These are the kind of heroes that we don't hear about enough on TV, folks. But it's one that I'm very, very happy that you came here. Before we let you go, if there's one thing that you could have maybe told yourself 7 years ago, right? When you sat down contemplating that decision. Like, do I stay being a cop, knowing my family's growing and knowing that, you know, I could take a call and I could be in a firefight and I might not come home. Right. And my wife might be there trying to raise family without me. And there's people here on this, that are gonna watch this, are gonna think, I want a better life. Help these folks, and if you will, to William, finish up by giving them your name and your phone number and a way they could contact you if they just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what state they're in the country, wherever they're seeing this, you have a friend in the business, call William, please. But if you will, help them understand what was that defining moment that made you make that decision, and then, if you will, leave them some information about you.
No, absolutely. That defining moment for me was recognizing that there was more for me in this life than what was there. And I think that most people want to just have impact. I think they just want to have a meaningful existence. They just want to know that the work they're doing is actually going to like be remembered, even if they don't remember my name 10 years from now. They're going to remember this insurance policy. And when that aha really went off in my head, I recognized that there are more than one way to serve a community than be a cop.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Than being a firefighter, than being on an EMS bus. And shout out to Jordan Peterson, great giant in our industry. He talks about the silent legacy, right? Mm-hmm. That people leave. And I think that we in this industry are leaving silent legacy. And that just gets me excited, because that's what we're doing. We're helping people like create that thing. Everybody, if you're already in the industry or you're looking at it, we get to do that thing everybody talks about at Thanksgiving. Everybody talks about the dinner table. Everybody talks about themselves when they look in the mirror. How am I going to leave my family when my story is done, when the chapter of my book closes? And to be a part of that is very, very fulfilling and very cool.
Yeah. So when you sit there and you're listening to this and watching this, and you go back in the other room, look at your husband, look at your wife, look at your children, look outside and say, you know, I want to do something different. I want to have a true impact. Not that I can't meet nice people at my job and maybe do the same job and the same thing over and over again, but to really have not only a lasting value to the people and the families that you serve, but also your community. And, you know, you mentioned it, William, and I think sometimes we gloss over it because, I don't know, sometimes we're embarrassed to say it, but this is one of the most lucrative professions in the world, frankly. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to make a lot of money. You know, I think it was my son when he was growing up, he said, Dad, you know, I thought you told me all those years ago you got in the business because you wanted to give back to a community. And I said, well, I've been fortunate, you know, God has blessed us, but I've never seen poor people give any money back to the community. And he said, well, why not, Dad? I said, because they haven't made enough money to give back. The people that are giving back the money are the people that are making the money. So you want to be in an industry where you can make good money so that you can help other people. And I thought, well, wait a minute. You can help people with life insurance, and you can help people with some of the blessings that you make in this business by helping other people. And a lot of times that's bringing some of the new people into the business. And I don't think anybody does it as well as William Berry. So William, tell people how they can reach you and how they can get in touch with you in Symmetry. My
name is William Berry, Berry. The Berry Family Agency. We're an agency inside Symmetry Financial Group. My direct cell phone in this pocket right here is 918-845-5442. That's 918-845-5442. Yeah, I just put my cell phone out on the internet. But, and my email, I don't mind, william@berryfamilyagency.com. And that's my first name, william@berry, Berry, familyagency.com. You can email me, text me, call me. And again, this isn't a recruiting pitch.
Right.
Just, if you're like, hey, I'm stuck. I'm doing this thing. I don't know what the next thing is I need to do. What's that thing that defined my moment? If you just need someone to call you and say, hey man, can you brush me off and move me on down the road? Absolutely. You can call me, contact me, text me. I'd love that.
William Berry, Symmetry Financial Group. Wonderful show here in Dallas, Texas this week at the SWAT conference. Folks, thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you, William, for doing what you do.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man.
No, I'm glad I was here. I got to meet you guys.
You're kindly welcome, and we are so excited to have you. And I could say this from a guy that's getting some gray hair, who didn't think he was going to have any when I got in this business. It's with so much excitement and gratitude that I see all the next generation of wonderful people that are trying to help other people in their communities. So if you are that kind of person and you care deeply about others and you really want a different life for yourself, William Barry at Symmetry Financial Group. Guys, enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be back at you from SWAT here in a little bit. Thank you.